buddy.
Right.
Buddy.
Potter.
Let those listeners figure that out.
Here with the Malfoy P.
Potter. That boy put some spit behind that there, boy. Listen, what it do, Snacker, Snack Extra? It's your boy Gage. We super late. We had some technical difficulties trying to get some things squared away. We're using a new application to do this now. We have used this before. We just don't usually go live using this one.
Yep.
So yeah. So anyway, we didn't give y'all a countdown. We didn't give y'all a heads up. We was like, we gotta jump out here.
Yeah, we just gotta do it
and get into it. So I just want to make sure.
Oh, there we go. Doctor Who was like, just watching, snacking, and hanging. I like that. Actually, that works right there. Hey,
I like that. Yeah, dog. I can't. Hey, listen, jokes. I can't see that.
Word.
I can see it.
You mean the on the side there? You don't see where it says chat? You click and it don't show that?
Bro, I know how to click the button that says y'all hear Joe trying to talk to me like I just walked up to his Geek Squad account or something.
Hey.
Like, did you press the power button? Like, yeah. Don't turn on. Did you press power? Look, I'm here with Jokes and with Sin. Hey, J. Robert Deans. And you're not tuned in to Loaded Snacks Weekly. Just a little bit later than normal. We got a power pack show for you, and we're not going to shorten it at all. We're going to get through all of this. Ain't that right, Sin?
Let's do it.
Excellent. Jokes.
Yo.
Can you do your job?
You know what? Let's see how this actually works right now.
Yeah. Our usual tricks are no longer there.
I gotta learn new tricks now.
While you try to figure that out, Sin, you have a job to do.
Yes, so let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, and Jonathan Sosa. Thank you very much. We truly appreciate it.
I think they can see that. I can still pop it up there as well, too.
Bam! Y'all know what it is. Hit the Beacons link. That is the easiest way to find us across the board wherever we are. Hey, Jokes, put our names. Oh, never mind. It does that when you put. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it keeps throwing your name behind the logo. Behind the logo, but we already know who you are, so it's cool. Right, Sam?
That's right.
Hey, listen, J. Robert Dean. We love to give WB and DC a hard time, but the struggle is so real. I almost feel bad now. I wasn't.
Batman is not even safe. Like if Batman ain't safe, it's like,
hey, dog. It's not important that Batman shouldn't be safe. 2, he shouldn't. But a Batman animated series by Bruce Timm should absolutely be safe. However, that is going to take a long time and be very expensive. And I think that's why that joint got the. But they did at least decide that they're doing the Batman the movie 2.
Okay.
Finally, which I don't know why it took so long to greenlight that.
I thought it already got greenlit, and then it was like,
it did not. It had not been greenlit. But it is now. So I mean, there's that. Look, we're gonna talk a little bit about Gamescom, which is happening right now. Opening night live with Jeff Keighley happened a couple of hours ago. Gamescom is like the German version of E3, except it's way bigger than E3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very video game focused. There's not a lot to talk about. There's a few trailers and things like that. So we're not going to dig too in depth. We'll save some of that for next week because I'm expecting that there'll be some reveals of some things that happen over the next few days because it runs like today through the weekend. So we'll talk about that more next week. However, Sin, you were able to watch a good portion of the show. Or did you get to watch the whole thing?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing.
All right. So I know you told me that there were some things that stood out to you. talk to me. You know how I feel about the one thing that stood out to me, but
right,
you're gonna wait and see if it comes to
fruition. As far as things that stuck out, PlayStation announced their Edge controller, which is their pro version of the PlayStation 5 controller. So kudos to that. I'll look into a little more.
All that work they did, and the analog stick's still in the wrong place.
Still in the wrong place.
Hey, look,
that's the first thing I said when it popped up.
So did I. But they're like, yeah, you can customize. I'm like, first thing I said was, can I move those? Like, if I can move those, now you got me. You know, yeah. But no, not a thing. Destiny Lightfall. I am so amped after that trailer. I was watching like this how it looks like this the Fortnite crossover they're announcing with Destiny. But for the one, like, no, this is new, and we're getting new abilities. It looks like. So
so there's going to be a new subclass.
Yep.
So they did an entire showcase this morning.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the trailer they showed at Gamescom at Opening Night Live they had already shown at least some version of it earlier in the day when they did their own stream to talk about the changes that were coming. They talked about how they're not getting rid of. You know how they started to like sunset some of the older stuff as they release new stuff. They're not doing that anymore. Not doing that anymore. Looking for group has been added directly into the game, so you don't have to go and find a party somewhere else in order to get, your 6 people for your raids and stuff like that. They're gonna make it way easier for them to Sherpa people through. Look, y'all know how I feel about Destiny. Mm-hmm. But they almost got me. I have considered it. It'll just be a matter of whether or not I have time. What else stood out to you, Sam?
Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I so want to know more about that. I used to watch that so many times growing up with my brother. We used to laugh at it all the time. Yeah, I just need to know more about that game. Personally, y'all may not care. I get it. But whatever. It stuck out to me because I didn't see it coming whatsoever.
That's kind of how I feel about Doom.
I felt that about Doom, but when they announced that it was an open world survivor MMO, that more so piqued my interest. Yeah, like to.
I mean, I'm
willing to try it. I'm willing to give it a shot and try it. Where the Winds Meet looked dope to me. This martial arts, action adventure thing they showed towards the end.
That's a game.
I'm looking forward to. There was a few other stuff, but I'm not going to get into everything. Like I said, we'll talk more about it next week as more things come out. But the big closeout was Dead Island 2. That we got a CG trailer, and we actually got a gameplay trailer for it. So I'm happy that it's finally been announced. Apparently, it's real. We have seen it.
I mean, apparently, it's been real now for like.
But we haven't heard or seen anything from it. We just hope and wish.
Hey, no, the first trailer we got for that joint, I think, was 2014.
It's been a long time.
See, it's 2014 and 2013. Like it might have been after PS4 and Xbox One came out, but it was supposed to be next gen for those consoles. Mm-hmm. The joint with Slim jogging down the road, in LA, like. The first trailer's cool, but it just reminded me a lot of what they've done with the other trailers before. The fact that they gave us gameplay, that did a little something for me. Not gonna lie. Dead Island is stupid fun.
Yes.
It just is. It's just stupid fun. I believe it when I see it, though. It's been so long. They said February 3rd.
Yep.
I don't know. That's pretty close. And I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, look, you would think that at this point they've learned their lesson and they're not going to announce it unless they're actually ready and think that they can put that.
Yeah.
But any number of things could happen between now and then. And we'll see. That's enough months away. I'll believe it when I see it. That joint's not getting a pre-order. That joint's gonna have to be out
day one purchase. Like it was on drop, buy it
before I'll consider that joint. Like I'm gonna act like I didn't even see that joint. We're done talking about it. Jokes, was there anything that you saw that stood out?
Kind of a few things that since like I didn't get to actually watch it. I was too busy working today, but I did see those couple things that came across. The PlayStation controller when they initially announced it, I was like, okay, they got their Elite controller. Joystick still in the wrong place. I don't care. of course, Destiny, I did tune in to a part of the Destiny showcase when they did their own thing. That's just me. And of course, we're getting Sin. I don't know if this means the same thing for you, but King's Fall raid drops on Friday. That was my absolute favorite part of Destiny 1. I have no idea how many times I completed that damn raid, but I'm amped for that. Other than that, that's really the few things. Like, I didn't get to see a lot of it, so the Dune thing caught me by surprise. Like, even though I'm kind of like lukewarm still about the title itself, that was still something I wasn't really expecting.
There was a joint called Lies of P, which
the Pinocchio Souls joint
looks pretty interesting.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's like Soulsborne joint.
But it's Pinocchio. Yeah, and it's gonna be in Game Pass.
Yeah. So if it wasn't for that,
we've been seeing clips and trailers of that for a minute now, but seeing like a story trailer to kind of get an idea of what it is, I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot.
Where I was like,
you'll have your own Game Pass when it drops. You will.
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
Good with that.
If it wasn't, I wouldn't touch it. I'd say that now. I'm not into the Souls joints. So
Pinocchio Souls. That sounds so funny.
Hey, so listen. We're gonna. How do I? All right. So look. Quite often we get into some of the like specifics when it comes to like how companies get paid for things and all that kind of stuff, because it matters to us as consumers in the long run, because it affects how companies do business.
Absolutely.
So I know I sent this to y'all, I don't know, maybe yesterday or the day before. I think it hit yesterday. Sony is being sued for 5 billion euros, which is $5.9 billion. Specifically for the way that they do business within their own PlayStation store. Did y'all look into this at all? Did y'all read the article?
I started reading a little bit of it.
Yeah, I read some of the article. Yeah,
it's PlayStation, so like it just doesn't surprise me with the way that they operate that something like this would eventually hit the field. I don't.
Here's the thing: it's not. It's a little strange. The lawsuit. Oh, is it pleasing to the eye? I'm glad you like that. So here's the thing. The suit claims that Sony is overcharging their customers, okay, for stuff that is in their digital store. And it is abusing its position as the primary seller of PlayStation games digitally.
Right.
Okay. Which is not brand new, but relatively new in terms of how it is affecting the market, because now, it used to be your Best Buys, your GameStops, your Targets were the primary places where people bought games because they were buying them physically. And even for a good while, people would still, even if they bought digitally, they would still do them at a physical place. They would go somewhere and do it that way. For a long time, like tail into the 360, throughout the last generation, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, not a lot of PlayStation 4, but like they would still do stuff where if you bought a game, even if it was digital, but you bought it from a specific retailer, you would get some sort of an in-game bonus, and it was different for different retailers, and that might get you to go to Best Buy versus Target versus GameStop versus whatever. So they were still doing things like that. So I'm going to read a little bit about this. It says that the lawsuit filed with the Competition Appeal Tribunal on August 19th states that consumers have been overcharged for digital purchases of games and DLC, as Sony is charging a 30% commission. Now, here's the thing that's weird about that to me. Everybody charges a 30% commission. The entire thing about Epic and Apple was about the fact that Apple charges this 30%, and they wouldn't allow Epic to bypass the Apple store in order to sell through their own store, so they could then pass those savings on. So there's a part of me that believes that some of this suit comes from the fact that exists. But within that suit, Sony and Microsoft stated that while they do charge an additional 30%, well, the 30% is not because of Apple. 30% is what Apple charges. So anybody that has something in the App Store, whatever you purchase from the App Store, Apple takes a 30% cut. It is the same thing within PlayStation Store and the Xbox Store. It's the same thing on Steam. You know what I mean? Like generally a 70-30 cut is pretty normal throughout the industry. Here's the thing that is different, and this is what they argued in court during the Apple thing. Apple makes a ton of money. They make a ton of margin on the products they sell themselves. So when you buy an iPhone or a MacBook or whatever, they're all overpriced. They're selling those to you for way more money than they cost. So they are recouping money for actually selling you the product. Whereas Sony and Microsoft, when they sell you a console, they are usually selling that to you at a loss. And the additional 30% that they charge is in order to make that money back up on the back end. They need to sell you additional peripherals, games, and so forth in order to make up for the margin that they're losing when they sell you the console at a loss. Nintendo doesn't. Nintendo also sells their consoles and make margin on it. So it's a little strange. But here's the thing. This does not seem to be about Sony charging a 30% cut across the board. It seems to be that this lawsuit is about Sony specifically charging you the same amount for their own content. That because they already take a 30% cut, they should be able to charge you less for the product that's their own product. So Sony should not be charging you $70 or $60 for games that are their own games on their own store, because they own the store. They should be selling it to you for less. That's tricky, man. I don't know how I feel about that. It says Sony dominates the digital distribution of PlayStation games and in-game content, said Natasha Pierman, the legal partner leading the case. It has deployed an anti-competitive strategy, which has resulted in excess prices to customers that are out of all proportion to the cost of Sony providing its services. So they're basically saying that it doesn't cost Sony anywhere near what they're charging you, and they're making way too much money on the back end. So again, when you think about certain things about digital distribution that should save you money, shipping, printing,
things like
plastics, boxes, all that kind of stuff, that goes to the wayside. That does not mean that running servers is cheap to do.
Right.
But their argument, and anybody who has purchased from PlayStation digitally in the UK is a part of this class action suit. So you could get anything. If they win this, what it says is you could get anywhere from like 67 euros to 260 some odd euros or something like that back. So that $5 billion total encompasses everyone who they have quote overcharged. And it is about the consumer. This isn't about, some other company that is selling product on Sony's store, because those companies can sell their product in other places. The problem, I presume, is people were paying those larger prices. I mean, J. Robert is, I guess. I mean, the thing is, if you buy a game from PlayStation digitally, directly out of their store, they will charge you the same $60 amount that you would pay if you go to Amazon or if you go to Best Buy, or if you go. As a matter of fact, a lot of times, if you go to somewhere like Amazon and you buy early, they give you a discount. A little weird. KB says it's a petty suit. If you feel that way, don't shop Sony. which is interesting. However, there are a lot of people who have already bought into that ecosystem and don't have a choice. Maybe can't afford to get another system, or this is, again, it's a monopoly in and of itself, right? It is, you bought a PlayStation, and so now if you want to play any of these games, you have to pay the prices that we charge you for it because you don't have anywhere else to go. And it's one thing when it is Madden, which you can play on almost anything known to man. But if it's God of War or Spider-Man,
you gotta go to PlayStation.
But to play it where they put it. And I think that what they're getting at is they shouldn't be charging you quite so much. And I think the other piece of this comes from the fact that Microsoft, for instance, has not gone up in price on their games for current gen, while Sony has gone up $10. And so I think that's another piece of where this is coming from. Sony has decided, oh, well, yeah, we're giving you higher fidelity games, blah, 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 so we're going to charge you more. And I understand that games haven't gone up in price in 15 years.
360. That was that.
So almost 20 years, really, give or take. But because the distribution is so different, right, and you don't have the packaging and whatever, not that games aren't more expensive. They are to make. It's very interesting. There's a part of me that feels like, should they win this lawsuit, Microsoft is next, and Nintendo is after that, and anybody else who has, because if you look at Steam has lower prices on the same games with higher fidelity across the board all the time. As a matter of fact, I'd be willing to bet you that if you look, games that are Sony quote-unquote exclusive titles that made their way to PC through Steam are cheaper on Steam than they are on PlayStation. And I would bet you that that's part of the problem too, that you can get the same game from Steam
better.
If you buy it on PlayStation, it costs you more. Why would that be? Right? When it's your store, right? And you're already taking a cut from all these other people, you should be able to do it for less. It's very interesting. We'll have to see how it plays out. There is a high chance to me that the whole thing gets thrown out.
True.
Yeah.
Like, whatever is their store, they can do what they want. But there is the new anti-competition clause that they are basing this on is relatively new and just got put into place within the last couple of years. KB says it doesn't sound like the consumer shop is not mad at the price point. Sounds like they're mad at Sony's margin. I think I think those go hand in hand. I think those go hand in hand. I think that what they're saying is because Sony's not making an extra 30% on their own content when they sell it to you through the store.
Right.
They're making an additional 30% from everybody else who sells in the store. Right? So it should be that because they're bringing in so much additional money from the other people that are forced to sell on their store the way they are, that they should be able to sell you their stuff at less. When instead, in fact, they're actually pushing the price of their stuff up. We'll have to see. Saying you got something to say, go ahead and say it.
I mean, I understand that side of it. You know what I mean? That makes sense. You know, the consumer and all that kind of stuff, they're charging more, should be less. But in the back of my mind, it's coming back to it's Sony's thing. They can do what they want. Like, at the end of the day, it's their games. They can charge what they want. You do not have to buy them if you don't want. You can wait till they go down cheaper in price and on sale to pick it up.
True.
That's what I would do with, a lot of times on some of the stuff. Like, it's Sony. You know what I'm saying? We know how Sony operates. If you want to be a Sony fan and play Sony games, it's their
play
store.
Sony's ball.
It's their company. It's their store. They can charge what they want for their own games. They can jack up $200 if you want. If you want it and you're going to buy it, you're going to pay the money.
I mean, I think there's a piece of that that's correct. It's not like KB said, who says that if they're paying for development, why wouldn't they get a bigger cut? Well, they are getting a bigger cut, right? So it's not that they're getting 30% of their own. Obviously, they're getting 100% of what they put out. That's their title under a lot of circumstances. There are a lot of titles that are PlayStation, not a lot, but there are titles that are PlayStation exclusive that are second party, right? They're exclusive to PlayStation, but they're not companies that are owned by PlayStation. So, for instance, when Spider-Man came out, Insomniac was not owned by
them at that point.
Even though Insomniac almost for their entire existence have done games exclusively for Sony, they were not owned by Sony. And it's kind of amazing that Sony didn't purchase them before Spider-Man happened. But I do think that because the only reason why they made that acquisition was probably because Spider-Man did so well, and the MCU and Marvel is such a big deal, they needed to lock that in place. Because if you look at Death Stranding, people were upset last week because Death Stranding is coming to Game
Pass PC, which means that it's one flipper.
And they don't own Kojima games, right? And so Kojima can go to whoever he wants to distribute. So yes, he signed an exclusivity deal for a year. He did the deal with 505 Games to distribute. 505 Games is distributing that game on PC, and 505 did the deal with Microsoft to move it to Game Pass, which obviously means more money for them. So, look, I think that whether or not something is anti-consumer in terms of whether or not your business practices are legal is different from whether or not it matters if people are mad about how much money they're making or mad about the cut that they get or whatever. I think that what really matters is whether or not they've actually done something that they're not allowed to do legally. That's the thing that really matters. It really isn't about, like you said, Sam, they can charge whatever they want, right? But they can't really charge whatever they want. That's why the legal portion of it is in place. It is to keep things like that from happening. And so, yes, if people want it, they're going to buy it, right? They do it with Apple. They do it with Sony. They do it with Microsoft. If people don't want it, they won't buy or they'll go elsewhere, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that for those people who are not necessarily aware or aren't necessarily in the know, don't know that they're being taken advantage of because they are in the ecosystem and they don't see what other people are doing. There are many, many, many people who go out, they know Sony, they know PlayStation, they buy a PlayStation, they have it at home, and they just go in there and buy because that's what's there, right? And so they're not looking at Game Pass or what's happening on that store. They're not going into stores anymore or going to Best Buy or going to Target or even opening the paper and just seeing what's on sale until Christmas time. Not everybody is the savvy kind of I'll wait till it goes on sale person that you are as far as buying video games because you're a gamer. Some people are just mom and pop, mom and dad bought the game system for the kid and they're just, oh, you got to get some game. That's what it is. So I guess realistically what it matters is it won't be about the 30%. It'll just be about whether or not what they're doing technically does or does not fall within what is supposed to be protected by this anti-consumer clause. That's really what it'll come down to. And if it turns out that what they're doing is perfectly okay, we won't hear another peep out of it. That's it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So last week, on a sadder note, Cineworld, who owns Regal, announced that it looks like they're going to be filing for bankruptcy, filing Chapter 11 or insolvency in the UK. Look, we've talked a lot about this, what it means, the kind of impact that COVID has had on movies, what streaming services are doing to theaters and so forth. The reason why I bring this up is because one of the reasons that they are citing for having to look at even like bringing their lawyers in to even discuss what it means and what they have to do in order to file for bankruptcy is because they're saying there's not enough high-end movies coming out. There's not enough movies coming to theaters. Okay. Now I find it interesting that that's happening on the cusp of us being told that Top Gun Maverick has dominated and is in the top movies of all time. $1.4 billion worldwide, number 6 movie domestically, not looking like it's on a ball to stop anytime soon. Still doing well in theaters, but also available digitally currently.
Yep.
So there's a couple of things. One thing that says to me is Top Gun's only doing as well as it is because there's no competition. Let's keep that a buck. If you've decided you're ready to go back to the theater, what is there to see? It's pretty much Top Gun. That's what it is. Because I was having a hard time trying to figure out why Top Gun is doing so well. Not that people aren't saying it's great. I didn't see it. I will. I just haven't. Mm-hmm. People love it. People are saying it's great. People are going to see it more than once. Say KB says it's a beast.
No.
Is it though?
If you're gonna say that, then you might as well just say Dragon Ball Super, because Super
superhero
at that point.
I mean, 20 million over the weekend ain't Top Gun numbers.
Not at all.
It's high for anime. It's super high for anime. There's no two ways about that. It ain't Top Gun. For real, it's not a Disney release, in fact. For real. But it does speak to the strength of what anime is, and the fact that something like this coming out at a time like this is a draw for people, right? You have a lot of choices for where you can go watch a movie. Top Gun is probably playing in the majority of them. One of the things that they specifically used in order to as part of their marketing was is only available in theaters. Tom Cruise going out and be like, I don't make
movies for
theaters, yo. Shut up, Tom Cruise. But all right, I'm better than every other actor. I only make movies for theaters. All right, cool.
Then why is yours on digital right now that people can buy if that was the case?
I mean, look. There are a lot of people, a lot of actors who, they're. I don't know about that.
I don't know, dude.
Prey is cool.
Prey would have ate a what in theaters?
I don't think that joint would have come close.
Not Top Gun? No. Prey was dope.
Hell no.
Prey was dope. It wasn't beating Top Gun's numbers. Prey was dope.
Prey is good. I won't even give it dope because the first 38 minutes of that joint is slow as I don't know what. It's just slow. It builds well. It finishes well. Oh, but it starts so slow, dog. And I was ready to. All right, dog. I got to get out. I was ready to bounce. So it ain't. I don't think that joint is doing Top Gun. Word of mouth and the fact that there's nothing that came out in August. Again, that's part of what we're saying is why Top Gun is doing so well, right? Is that there isn't any competition in the theaters for it, and that's anywhere in the world. So when you can take a movie like that has a star like Tom Cruise, let's keep in mind that your top grossing male box office actors are Tom Cruise, The Rock, and Will Smith. Throw Will Smith out the window. That's over. It's The Rock and Tom Cruise.
And The Rock about to do it in a few months.
They the ones. That's it. So Tom Cruise has been dominant his entire career, which is 40 years. For real.
Hey, Perk, that joint was strategically placed out of the way of a lot of stuff.
Again, I think that speaks to where we are when the owners of Regal are like, yeah, dog, we about to file for bankruptcy. Though it was apparently a disappointment too. It was for a lot of people. For a lot of people. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. But it wasn't like we're at a place. What I got against Will Smith? Hey, dog, listen.
It ain't about what we necessarily got against Will Smith.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Real talk.
It's what
Let
he
me
did.
just say one thing very clear. And y'all are probably gonna hate me for this. Chris Rock deserved to have his face touched. I'm just gonna say it. He deserved to have his face touched. Was Will Smith wrong for doing it? Yes. Why? Because they wasn't in the street.
was in the street, we wouldn't be here having all this right now.
We wouldn't be talking about it.
That beef would have been handled.
Somebody, it was outside.
Wrong place.
Slap my man good too. You know what I'm saying? Look, you just can't.
Hey, yo, these shows popping up so quick now.
But you're not that kind of rapper. He ain't. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just be touching people. Maverick probably dominated the same way. Diana is always bestseller. What? Hey, listen. I mean, sure. I mean, look. Tom Cruise has a lot of incredible pull. You don't think that slap canceled Will Smith?
Yes, it did.
Let me tell you something. Will Smith's, I don't know, my mother's probably steaming right now. Will Smith's career trajectory was already like this. Like, it wasn't like this anymore. It was already like this. Like, he had some toilet joints. You know what I mean? And they was just continuing to come through. And so that joint was already starting to turn. You know what I mean? And for real, a lot of what kept Will Smith or keeps Will Smith as popular and as high as he is and makes people go see movies even if they think they're going to be bad is because people like Will Smith as a person. They think he's honest and he's open. They think he's a good dude. They think what Jada is doing to him is terrible. They think he's a great father. They think he's a great husband. So people are behind Will Smith, the person, even if they're not behind Will Smith, the actor anymore. And what Will Smith, the person, did made people feel like, what? I can't be. And for her, after all she done did to you, you gonna walk up there and do that to him? Come on, bruh. So, like, people feel betrayed.
Should have waited till you got in the streets.
They should. They should feel betrayed because they forgot the very first line of the only rap song most people know by Will Smith. In West Philadelphia, born and raised. It's real out there, y'all. But y'all forgot that. And y'all don't understand that my man has to act different consistently. Cancel. It's a wrap. Will Smith couldn't get a job in a movie that somebody has to go out and promote to save him now. It's not possible anymore. I don't know if people fake mad at him for putting pause on Chris. Look, it's people who don't like Chris Rock just because what his voice sound like. I'm one of them. I hate his voice, but the joint is funny. His voice is funny. Did he go too far? Maybe. But did Will go too far? Absolutely. It's just, it is what it is.
Balance.
There is none. Everything's out of balance now. You know what I'm saying? Everything's out of balance now. So, hey, look, not to take anything away from Tom. I think Tom is phenomenal. I love that Tom puts his own money and his own production companies behind the things that he does so that he can make sure that he gets the best and the most out of what he wants to do. This is a man who, once they told him, oh, nah, you can't do that stunt. It's too dangerous. What you mean? The production company said I can't do it? Oh, yeah, we're not using them no more. I'll form my own production
I got
company.
my own.
I will produce these joints, and I will do these stunts. So, yes, I'm not just going to get paid for acting. I'm not just going to get paid for appearing. I'm going to get paid for stunting.
Oh, dang.
Stunting like your daddy. What I do. Listen, but what did Liam Neeson do that made people turn on him? Listen, Liam Neeson made the same movie 5 times in a row.
Was it only 5?
In a row. I didn't say there weren't more than that. I just said in a row. But people kept buying it, and they kept going. And so now there's an expectation. He was in Star Wars.
Way before. Way before.
Let me tell you something. Liam Neeson got the Star Wars joint because of Rob Roy. Because he had to fight. He was sword fighting in Rob Roy. So they're like, oh, you did sword fighting? Let's put you in Star Wars so you can sword fight. You're going to lose again because he lost in Rob Roy too. Got whooped twice. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I just, what do you want me to say? I don't make the rules, y'all. I just tell you what's happening to people. That's all. I make some rules. But I just tell you what's happening to people. Top Gun probably deserves. Yeah, now he pays him on step one. He might have. We might just not have it on film. Do you listen? I just need to know, J. Robert Deans. Do you feel turned on? Do you feel like somebody went behind your back and changed their personality? You just didn't know. You feel betrayed. I need to know if you feel betrayed. Is that Candace?
He can't help but constantly bring this up all the time.
Yeah, because
and
he
it's
feels
going to be a
betrayed.
thing, and it's going to continue.
He feels betrayed. He thought he'd been dealing with a different person. He got to change his little, he got the little jokes joint. He got to change his sim joint.
Oh, let me tell you, I'm pretty sure that's in the works.
There it is.
Actually, in the works. Yeah, I'm sure he's already got that.
I mean, went back to the drawing board. After that happened, he was like, "Oh no, Sin, I got the new one now. Throw that out. Let's go."
Mm-hmm. Let's put that on the shirt. Listen. Is there anybody who thinks that Top Gun was better than Endgame?
I haven't seen it, but
I haven't seen Top Gun, so
I'm gonna say no.
Why didn't you see it?
I just
me?
Either
me.
Well, I didn't want to go see it in theaters. I didn't care enough to go spend theater money and time to go see it.
As much as I have the first Top Gun in my collection digitally in the cloud, it's been so long since I watched the first one that I wasn't quick to just jump at going to see the second one. As easy as I could have watched it and been done with it, I just didn't feel like watching it.
Last time I saw Top Gun was probably 1992.
Agreed. Somewhere, yeah.
Then, I'm not saying it wasn't great. I have memories of it. It explains too much. I have to give Sin some grief. I like it. Let me just say, Top Gun not even the best movie. What's the best movie of the year, Perk? Don't say Dragon Ball.
It definitely was not.
You can say that, but no, it's not.
Hey, listen, I just want to say, I was given a very difficult time about how I treat jokes over the last week. I was on my hold up. Hold on a second. Jokes knows I love him. You know what I'm saying? See? That's what I'm talking about. He knows I love him. He just don't play games with us.
Facts.
He treats us the way we treat him.
I bought this SD Gunman Alliance game to play co-op with him, but knowing that I will only probably happen once.
Oh no, we are going to be playing some SD Gundam jump.
I will, but hey, we're going to treat it like Dead Island 2. I will believe it when I see it.
See, you got to get up early in the morning. I don't, so I'll be playing it. I guess the jump will drop at midnight. So
see, look, already starting with the excuses.
Hey, listen, by the time you get in the joint with him, he gonna be level 78.
He is.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever, like
he's out there killing everything. I can't do anything. Like,
because he gonna be killing everything. It's not gonna be the same. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be the same. All right, you right. Everything Everywhere All at Once is better. That joint actually is the best movie of this year. I give that 100%. And I definitely don't think that joint is better than Batman. Batman was good, but it wasn't that good. It wasn't Everything Everywhere All at Once good. It was good for a Batman movie.
Mm-hmm.
Based on whatever your expectations of Batman are and should be, the Batman was pretty solid. But again, there's not a lot of competition this year. So much so that Regal was like, hey, no, we shutting down. They took out a loan for like $21 million last June. You can't pay that back.
Yeah, well, Marvel, all the Marvel stuff.
USA jingle is probably, but it might not be as bad because it's like doing well. So it's doing so well outside of the US, so it might not be quite as bad.
Marvel, if the shows weren't a thing, like if Disney Plus wasn't a thing, and they had the ability to do all the Disney Plus shows, we probably would have more Marvel movies that would be out in the wild. That would probably help, but.
I mean, there's a lot coming. Right?
Oh, no.
2020 and 2021 forced a lot of stuff back, forced a lot of stuff out. I mean, again, if you look at, all we really talk about here is the DC stuff that WB is canceling because it matters to us from like a comic book pop culture standpoint.
Hey, Perk, calm that down, Perk. Calm that down, man.
Sorry.
I'm okay with that.
I like my Regal movie pass.
AMC could
AMC
just as easily bite the dust, bro.
True there.
I don't know if at this point we're giving enough credence to what else WB might be shutting down that we're not talking about, that we don't really know about.
True.
Everywhere wasn't that good. I was hoping it would be. While watching it, I couldn't wait for it to end. I mean, it's always great to want to watch a movie and see it all the way to the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at. But on that note, what's the best movie you saw this year? That's where I'm at on that. Also, you like Wonder Woman 1984, so let's not do that. But see, Sin. Yeah, there's a lot of movies that may have been on the slate. We're talking a lot about WB, but there could be a ton of other production companies that are doing a lot of the same thing. Nothing quite as bad as, we're $90 million in and we're shutting it down. We already know this out there and we're shutting it down. Do y'all think folks will work with WB anymore without ironclad language in the contract preventing the studio from things like wiping servers, etc.?
I think there'll be conversation.
I think it depends. I think the issue that they're going to end up running into is that you're going to have actors, actresses who are not willing to work at what their normal contractual pricing would be. That they're going to want more up front. Mm-hmm. That they're going to want to bank more on their names. And any publicity that might get them, even if it means they take a slightly lower amount in royalties or something down the line, but still get them. Jerry says the Batman was fired, Doctor Strange was fired, Everything Everywhere, more fire. Again,
more fire.
Fact. That's like 3 movies. It's August. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's August. We 8 months in. Yeah, don't forget about Multiverse of Madness. Multiverse of Madness was clean. Mm-hmm. But you forgot about it. And here's probably why you forgot about it. Because no sooner than it was in theaters, it was also available at home.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes a difference. It made a lot of money. It did super well. Thor came out. You know what I'm saying? I can see Netflix getting that Batman animated series considering how well Sandman did.
Probably.
It's possible.
They're shopping it. They did say that it is being shopping around. So,
that'd be a good pickup for Netflix. They could use it.
Oh,
I could see what was not that clean. I could see Cartoon Network, Adult Swim,
kind of depending on.
Pick something up. The thing about that is, that's Warner Brothers and it's HBO Max. That's the problem.
Shop it to yourself.
Madness. It costs way less to make. I won't. Again, nobody knew those characters. It's different. It did crazy numbers though.
She's about Multiverse of Madness. Okay.
Sure, why not? I don't know what.
Okay. That one was okay. It wasn't the best MCU movie that's been out there, but.
But the MCU has a much the stakes are so high.
Mm-hmm.
You have everything going against you anytime you even announce an MCU movie, right? People are like, oh my God, crazy, look what they gonna do. The stakes are so high, right? It's so harder to continue to fight that. Easy on the back end of the list for this year. Again, you still only got like 4 things on the list though. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you want the back end of the list of this year, you ain't missing much. Your biggest competition is going to be things that are straight to streaming, like Prey. There's no 2 ways about it. That's where we are now, right? Is that streaming is making that much of a dent, even when streaming is losing. Like Netflix is losing subscribers left and right. Right? Oh, let's do an ad version. You know what I'm saying? Multiverse Man was okay. We would have benefited from a woman on the writing staff. Raimi haven't paid attention to the last 3 episodes of WandaVision. You know, considering that only the last 3 episodes of WandaVision were that great, and that Sam Raimi isn't, I mean, it's a lot of people who love his work. I'm not a fan of his work. I think he's okay. I don't dislike a lot of his work, but none of his work outside of something that has the words Spider-Man in the title. You know what I'm saying? But realistically, if they could have given the reins to almost anybody else, I'd be supremely more happy. One of a fan of horror, I am not work well. It was corny though, but all Sam Raimi stuff is corny. Everything Evil Dead is corny.
Got his camera angles and all that stuff in there.
Style of movie making is corny. So the moment they announced it was Sam Raimi, I was like, horror, but corny horror. Like, I really don't need to see Wanda come out of a mirror like it's the
Grudge. The Grudge.
Yeah. I don't look. Warner Brothers DC themselves, in terms of writing and so forth, are making a lot of strides with what they're doing with Milestone. I can't take that away. So I didn't say Evil Dead was not classic. That joint is classic and corny, though. You can put those C's together. Evil Dead is absolutely corny. It's comedy. See, I'm okay with the corny stuff. It's based on comic books. For me, that's the fun. I don't think everything in comic books is corny. Yeah, I was just waiting for the trademark Raimi eyeball moment. Exactly. Always there. Has to happen. Evil Dead 2 Slim, when the zombie's coming up through the board, she stomps on that joint and an eyeball flies out and goes in Slim's mouth. Corny. Corny. Classic. But corny. It is what it is. You know, look, I think as we attempt to expand what we're doing with stuff like the MCU, if they had the Necronomicon, they would have overdone. Raimi would have cornified that. You can't do that. It's been too much. As they expanded, try to reach to different audiences by pulling in different directors. We're going to have some more hit or miss, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the corny is. Maybe more Daredevil horror and stuff would have worked better. I don't think Daredevil stuff was horror at all. It was just, I don't think it was horror. I think it was bloody.
Mm-hmm.
I think
gory?
It was violent.
Maybe
but I wouldn't consider it horror. I don't know, Goodfellas. Like, if you think of any gangster film where people are getting killed or shot or whatever, like, you look at RoboCop. I don't know if you've seen RoboCop. And I mean the original RoboCop.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Not new RoboCop. OG RoboCop. That joint's gory. It's super violent, but it's not horror. So I think there's a difference in what that is. I think that what part of what's happening right now is that I think Disney, what's up, Substantial?
What up?
I think what's happening is that Disney is reaching out to try to get more people from a wider variety of people in on what the MCU is and what is happening with the MCU. A lot of us are bought in just for the story, and we need to know what's going to happen next.
Gotta continue with it.
And so you're going to have things where, you know, first 2 Thors didn't hit for a lot of people. First one was great. A lot of people hate the second one. Third joint, J. Robert Deans hates it. I thought it was great, right? And you're going to have that, right? You're going to have, again, they changed directors. They're going a different direction. They're trying to do something different because there are people who love what those directors do, right? And so let's do something different Because truthfully, if they kept using the same people and they keep doing the same thing over and over again, we're gonna go, oh, this is the same thing again.
Same movie over and over again.
We're done, and we're gonna be out. So if they don't change it and give us things we aren't necessarily always gonna like, if we don't expand our minds and open up what we're willing to accept from within what is considered a superhero genre, but needs to be comedy and needs to be a thriller and needs to be horror or needs to be corny, if we don't allow that to exist, okay, I take it back. I'm glad you like Ragnarok. It is all the Guardians joints you don't like.
That's facts.
Rumors everywhere. I think the issue would be if it was like, oh my God, look at what such and such director did. Let's get them again and again and again and again. We end up with the same thing.
Same catalyst, yeah.
Right? And we would not be happy with it. So I think by changing it up and getting something like the Eternals with somebody like Chloe Zhao with a very different eye from what we've been getting with everything else MCU, with what Jon Favreau did or anybody else, it would be stale. It would have been stale way before now. Mm-hmm. I'm still interested because there's a different take on even the same characters, which is exactly what comic books have been.
Do. You got your different writers that come in.
It's a different writer and a different artist, and we like so-and-so's run. We like it better than this one, even if we like both runs, right? We love what Dan Slott did with such and such. You know what I mean? Like, that's normal in comic books. And I think that approach is a much healthier approach when you are honestly rehashing characters that already exist. Mm-hmm. We already have a Hulk. Now we're getting a She-Hulk. We needed something that would show us what the difference is between this Hulk and that Hulk, because honestly, one of them Hulks got to go away.
Yep.
One can't have both of them. But we still have to have a Hulk. Just like we're still going to have somebody that can change size, right? And we still got to have somebody that can shoot arrows, and we still have to have a Black Widow, even though it's none of the same people. We still have a Captain America. We have a Blackton America. We're going to get another Blackton America in Patriot. Like, we're going to get the same characters over and over again. If we don't get a fresh take on it, then why are we doing it? That's just kind of what it is. So it's not supposed to be for everybody every single time anymore. All you're supposed to want to know is what's happening in the story. What's going to happen next. And as long as you're still interested in what happens next, that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
Oh, man.
Money doing it.
Oh, man.
He likes something.
Oh, man. Oh.
She-Hulk was incredible.
Oh, man.
Pardon that pun. Incredible Hulk. 1 for 1.
Terrible.
You know what I'm saying? 1 for 1. Yeah, I really like She-Hulk. I like what they did with it. If you guys are interested in knowing how we felt all the way around, Spoiler Boys is live and that right jokes.
It sure is.
So you can check it out on Patreon. You can check it out on YouTube. You did shoot the audio up to the podcast.
Sure did.
Like just now?
Nah, like right after the text message came through.
I get a reminder joint. Got it. Okay. Yeah, we could do this all day. Yeah, She-Hulk's first episode was dope, and I'm expecting fourth wall breaks to mean Deadpool. That's what I'm looking for. That's gonna be the last episode of 2 of it. She's gonna break the fourth wall. My man Deadpool just gonna walk in. Hey, you taking my thing? Something.
He gonna be the bartender. He gonna be the bartender at that little tiki bar in Mexico.
Will be.
They have the camera section, and then you can hear his voice, and the camera's gonna be him.
They just look down at the little initials that are scribbled into the joint, and his initials. You don't have to.
No,
but you don't have to watch Multiverse of Madness before you watch She-Hulk. At least not the first episode.
Yeah, they could make references later on, but as of right now, no.
Nah, you're good with the first episode at least.
I would encourage it though.
Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you something. We're not gonna let this go out on a Multiverse of Madness joint with Fluke. Hey, let me tell you something about Wanda Maximoff, bro.
Bruh,
Scarlet Witch is a threat. I don't care what
Here's the Scarlet Witch.
They put it all out there. Period.
Yeah, you got her. You got her lighthearted side in WandaVision. This is the complete opposite.
Yeah, it's the opposite. Yeah,
opposite.
Just play with me if you want to. See what's gonna happen.
Nah, she goes, bro. I'm in there.
All right, Sam. You have a good night.
Hey, listen, Sam. You enjoy your school day tomorrow. We appreciate you hanging out with us this evening. It's always a pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
I deal with anger all the time. I like that too.
Mm-hmm. That's almost
clean.
anger
all the time, man. I got to deal with y'all. I'm dealing with you right now.
Every week.
Yeah. Hey, listen, we're gonna wrap this up. Me and Sin got games to play. Jokes does not.
Jokes does.
He might, but not with us. Right now.
Right.
Right now. So Jokes, do your job.
Mm-hmm.
While he's getting that together, Sin, you got a job to do.
Yes, let's once again shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, and Jonathan Sosa. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
Glad you called us too, Jerry. It's always a pleasure to have you hanging out with us here in the chat. Sin, talk to me about Anime Vault.
Yeah, last week episode 1 went live. I did Rom the 1/2. This Thursday, Dominion Tank Police is episode 2 out of 6. So look for that, everybody, on Thursday. And yeah, I'm looking forward to getting these out there to y'all, so y'all can check them out.
Dig it. Keep your eyes peeled. Anime Vault season 2, episode 2, coming this Thursday. Jokes, put the Beacons link up. Y'all know what that means. Just hit the link. Follow us across the board. Everywhere we are, we want to see you there. We greatly appreciate your support across the board. Again, extra special shout out to those of you who are following us on Patreon, who are supporting us on Patreon. It means the world. It means the whole wide world. We have a lot coming up. A lot of conventions that are happening. Still a lot going on throughout the rest of the year. Still some new things that are popping up. Talk about that soon. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for announcements about some of that kind of stuff. Tomorrow night, Loading Stacks Movie Club, 8:00. We'll be discussing Belle, which is an anime take on the Beauty and the Beast story. We have some things to say about that. Tune in tomorrow. Loading Stacks Movie Club will be live. So probably not. J. Robert Deans probably won't be at Fairfax. I did consider making a trip. It would be a quick trip and a trip back. There is something else that's already going on Saturday. So I don't think so. But I may try to make a quick bop in and a bop out. We'll see. Anyway, Fairfax Comic Con Saturday. Come see me at table 109. Y'all go see J. Robert Deans if you're going to Fairfax Comic Con.
Yeah.
Go see J. Robert Deans at table 109. Please. And buy some books. And sign up for his Patreon. And ask for a little joke shirt. And a little Sin Step on Me shirt.
Know it's coming.
Gotta come. Gotta come through. Jokes like that. All right, y'all. We're gonna get out of here. Again, I appreciate all y'all hanging out with us this evening. I appreciate your patience with us getting things going, platform and so forth. I'm glad you like the background, Zaina.
It's kind of cool. I gotta go and see what else is in here because some cool things in here.
It's doing like this. Very cool. All right. See y'all tomorrow night. Lotus Ass Movie Club. We're out. Toodles and lose.